Right, okay, so we're going to look at significant figures. Right, there are two reasons you come to significant figures. It could be in a question, all right, they ask you to round something, but certainly you will be potentially asked to estimate something, and if you're asked to estimate something, then you are using significant figures to do it. Okay, so in terms of significant figures, when you're rounding, you're trying to keep the most important numbers, all right? So you're trying to retain essentially its size, all right? Because it's important if you're rounding something which is massive, the idea of obviously rounding it to the nearest integer or decimal places are kind of pointless. But you do need to kind of round it to obviously maybe nearest thousand or something like that. All right. So the first non-zero number is the most significant. Okay, that's the important thing. The first non-zero number is the first significant figure. Okay. So if I have to round 432 to one significant figure, your first significant figure is the 4, which is 100. All right, so it's 400. So I would therefore look at the next number to see if you round it up or down. Well, it's lower than a 5, so therefore I'm going to remain it as 400. And obviously it's important that you recognise that obviously the 4 and the 2 zeros need to be there because it's 400, essentially. All right. Well, the first significant figure here is the 5, so 0.0546. So that's your first significant figure. And then that's the second significant figure, so I've got to decide if I round it up or not. Well, of course, I do. All right, so that means I'm going to have 0.055. All right, 0.055. And like anything, what you should have, if you're looking for one significant figure, you need one digit which is not 0. And if you're looking for two significant figures, I'm looking for 2 digits 0 that may not be 0. Now, that's not always the case, because you might have something actually is a 0, but essentially that's kind of a good way of thinking about it. All right, so if you're asked to estimate, all right, and if you're asked to estimate anything, and there's a good chance in a non-calculator paper you'll be asked to estimate something, then don't want you to go full hog and calculate it. So this one here, 482 times 3.1, well, there's no way on God's green earth that they would like to calculate it, but you would not be surprised that some people try, okay? You get no marks for it, all right? What some people will try and do is they'll do 480 times by 3, because they feel they can do it. And again, arguably, they're going to get a reasonably accurate answer. But again, you're going to get no marks for it. When you are estimating, you need to round to one significant figure. All right. And if you don't do that, then of course you are going to get it wrong according to the mark scheme. So to one significant figure, this here, to the nearest 100, because your 4 is 100, looking at the 8 is going to be 500. Okay. Looking at this one, again, to the nearest integer, because that's what the first digit is, it's going to be 3. So it's going to be 500 times by 3, which is 1,500. Now, again, you could argue it's not as close as some other estimate that you might make. But this is not about you doing anything that you want to do. This is about making sure you pick up marks in the exams. And if you're asked to estimate, then this is an expectation from the exam board. This is exactly what you would do. One significant figure, because ultimately in a non-calculator paper, all they want you doing is timing single numbers, i.e. the 5 times the 3. Not anything more complicated than that. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. And again, you'd be amazed how many people try and do this. But what we've got here is one significant figure, so the nearest 10 is 50. First significant is a whole number, so the nearest whole number is 4. And then underneath here, your first digit is a 10, so the nearest 10 is 40. So you're going to have 50 times 4 divided by 40. So it's going to look like that. All right, and then again, it should be relatively easily. 50 times 4 is 200, divided by 40 is going to give you 20 over 4, which is going to be 5. Okay, and that's your answer. All right, and again, you could argue, and people do, and they keep going on about it, the idea of saying, well, it's not as accurate, it's not as accurate. This is not about accuracy. This is about following a method to estimate it. Okay, and that's what they want you to do. All right, so that's significant figures, and that's rounding to significant figures. So please make sure you're obviously familiar with it. And obviously, if you want to go to the website maths-school.co.uk, link at the bottom, obviously some practice questions on there for you to practice. Thanks for listening.